I am speaking to myself through the Cory, Malone, and Atlas costumes. I have already spoken to myself through the Cory and Atlas costumes on a previous episode called Abide as Infinity, which was a great one at the retreat. Shift into permanent alignment, Bintini Masara on the team, where we met, which was great.
Yes. Yeah, that was awesome. The whole thing, the retreat and the podcast was crazy. It's fun.
Our friendship, our reuniting.
Yeah. It's a breath of fresh air. Like I told you earlier today, when I saw you on Telegram, it's fresh. It was a breath of fresh air. It was really nice. Really nice to just communicate and chat with people that have the similar intention.
Because the seeking impulse dominated the costume's life to the extent at which then the costume recognized that it is not just a costume, but it is that which makes all costumes endlessly, and is that process of costume making itself is also illusory.
Exactly. It's illusory. So it's of course it's just one thing. Of course we would just get together and it'd feel good.
Yeah. So of course these vibrations of people that get that, instead of, we've been talking about this through the last couple of episodes, when the I am meets itself through costumes that know their nature, it sounds like wom, wom, wom. And when the egoic, contracted energies of person consciousness meet, it's like
It just rubs against each other. It doesn't really fit. It doesn't fit because you haven't molded it yet into, well, it's like you haven't molded it yet into who you truly are, but then again, you haven't allowed it to be who you truly are. So it's a back and forth of becoming who you are, but then again, just shedding more of who you're not.
Yeah, we just talked about that with VG yesterday on the episode, where it's both this onion where if you're not raised by a already enlightened parents, or by, for example, an indigenous tradition that raises the child right into infinity from the beginning, you accumulate all of the onion layers if you're born by ignorant parents, raised by them. And so what happens is you gain all these onion layers. And so that's why the process for many people is like shedding the layers of identity and form down to the nothingness. And then also it's the process of expanding from person consciousness to the cosmic consciousness, to the subtlety of the great I am awareness, as well as I am the creator, right? So it's the bothness of that.
Yeah. Right. Which is awesome and crazy at the same time. And I feel like it's designed that way to help you understand the paradox of it.
What are the two poles? The two poles are nothing and everything.
Yeah.
You can't go any more absolute than nothing and everything.
You can. And you know what is such a good feeling is when you accept that it's nothing and everything. and you stop questioning, like, why is it this or why is it that, or where are we coming from? Where does the absolute come from? Like, that's just a human way of thinking. So when you really accept this and that, and that's it, it's really liberating.
Yep. And to know that I am that. I am the absolute. I am not separate from the absolute. This right here, timeless, perfect being, is the absolute, endlessly expressing itself as everything possible, and is also an illusion that anything's even being expressed. Just like in your dream at night. When you dream at night and you simulate out a reality and you simulate out an observer to experience it, and then you wake up in the morning, did the dream happen? Did the dream exist? Was there a separate dreamed reality that existed?
Yeah.
Or was it literally nothingness appearing as a dream, just like this? Yeah.
I love that dream analogy of how to apply that to your waking life. That helped me a lot to actually experience and to realize that how you're not the body. Because when you dream, you're just consciousness experiencing that. You don't actually feel like you're a body doing these things and flying around or whatever. You just experience it. So apply that to your waking life and realize that's actually what's happening. It's literally a dream. Literally. Super relevant, but a dream. And so that can help you kind of unhook from the body. That was a big one for me, kind of not identifying with the actual body. That's who you are.
And the dream is for the great I am. It's for the eternal, shared, impersonal awareness right here. You, I, all 8 billion of these units, costumes, are experiencing together the shared collective dream.
Yeah.
And when you expand yourself out of your person consciousness into the subtlety of awareness and into the subtlety of us sharing our source and sharing our awareness, that's when you really get to these more elevated states of being able to recognize oneself as everything, as nothing, life flowing between those two, being beyond even both of those, just perfection, free, timeless, ineffable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just laugh because you know you're on that illusory, eternal river.
Yes, exactly. You're on that just flowy, illusory river. And you just laugh. That's my favorite. Honestly, I think that's my favorite part is just you laugh. And you just lighten up, and it's just, everything's okay. It's not serious. It's fun. It's fun. But also there is an intention for that to come through. To what you're meant to do here in your calling, like the calling work we did at the retreat, the permanent shift into alignment with Bentinho, that was the most profound thing I've ever experienced, was
me too.
Accessing your calling as a vibratory thing, as a unique essence of who you are in this moment, what you want to give as a energy. That was powerful.
So there's this balance between the illusory eternal river, which is literally trying to find. I was watching today Osho talk about this, thanks to VG. He sent this over, but he goes, I take your troubles seriously, but deep inside I am giggling. Another one, he goes, when I look at you, I am searching for a joke. But so be a joke onto yourself, but at the same time, like you said, there's this divine transcendent process of identifying what is my calling. How can I purify myself so that I'm coming from God's love light, coming from a place of pure service to others, and then bringing that gift, that firework in its greatest purity to the collective.
Yeah. I think that's what makes it rich. That's what makes it juicy. You have that illusory eternal river of flowiness and realizing the I am and the absolute, and it's wonderful, and it frees everything, it heals everything. But then you have this crazy calling and this crazy anchor of why you're here, which makes it super rich and super just insanely powerful. And I love both of those expressions. It's phenomenal.
Which are ultimately one. It's very similar to which is very similar to the graphic that I was talking about with Bentinho on the very first night, which is the graphic of Atlas that carries the world as Buddha is just chilling, nirvana on top of it. And so and then Bentinho cracked a joke and he goes, so I'm Buddha and you're Atlas carrying me. And I go, well, ultimately the two are one. And then he's like, you got me there. And so it's good because he is also Atlas in that sense. And I'm also Buddha in that sense. And you're also Atlas and Buddha in that sense, because we're both liberated from the cycle of birth and death. We are beyond coming and going, yet we are also purifying ourselves towards this calling of God's love light in service to other people at the same time.
Yes. At the same time. At the same exact time. Man, you got to send me those quotes from Osho. That's phenomenal. I've experienced that a lot lately with talking to anybody. And, if you hear anybody's problem or complaint, you just love them for who they are.
Okay, so here's one of them.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Osho, when I look at you, I am searching for a joke. And then here's the other one. Okay, here's the other one. Oh, wait, let me hide that one and let me add this one. There we go. I take your trouble seriously, but deep inside I am giggling.
That is beautiful. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, right. Those are the two quotes. And then here's another way to, in a sense, for what we're talking about. Let's see if I create a banner for this, and then if I click SER. Yeah, this is right. Okay, let's try this. Nope, this one. So in a sense, it's like Buddha is like, this is a dream joke. And the Atlas is like serious calling. And ultimately, the two are one.
Yeah.
It'd probably be better. It'd probably be like this is probably better, where you can actually see a joke. I tried getting a little hyphen in there, but it didn't show up. But yeah, so there's stuff like that.
So good.
Nope, still didn't show up. Okay, but anyway, yeah. So there's that. That was a really good point, though, because that's ultimately the illusory eternal river is your cosmic joke, everything and nothing simultaneously, beyond coming and going, just absolute, timeless, ineffable perfection. And yet there's this, you do have this process of these individuated fractal secretions that emerge as these costumes, aka the Cory, Malone, and Atlas costumes, that then end up figuring out, well, what is my calling? What's my purpose here? How do I bring that gift firework purely as God's love, light, and service to others? And so I love that. That's a cool little, balance that's ultimately won.
Yeah, I'm in love with that balance. It's fantastic because they both work, and it's both the truth. So once you experience it, let me ask you something. The calling that you left with at the retreat a couple weeks ago, at Bentinia's retreat, is that still resonating with you, or has it changed at all?
Yeah, for me, it's just so perfect because it allows me to be a Jedi across all of the layers. So for me, my calling is people experiencing truth. And because of that, it enables me to be across the spectrum from anywhere from person consciousness to somebody experiencing themselves as the creator, right? So I get that ability to sort of navigate from the self-actualization side as well as the self-realization side, right? I get that's what's cool about people experiencing truth, right? So that's for me why it's so spot on. How about you? What was yours, and how do you feel now?
It's still very much resonating, and I've checked in with it a lot. Mine is my calling is people experiencing magic, and I get lit up by that. I just love that feeling, and I just love carrying that around. I love being not even like a self-image thing, because I don't care about that. It's a question mark. Just be a question mark as you roll through your life of magic, of wonder. I just want to light myself up as much as I can and offer that to people. So yeah, that's exciting to me. And that was a huge moment for me to connect with that.
And it's cool because it's another one of those that people experiencing magic's a lot like experiencing truth, because in a sense, it enables you to be across everywhere. You can do self-actualization, self-realization, everything from upgrading person consciousness to cosmic consciousness, from becoming aware of awareness to becoming aware of oneself as the creator. And that's what's really cool, is the ability to say that people experiencing magic is literally any way, anywhere, anytime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool that you said that, because you're right. It's synonymous with truth, because magic is the nature of reality.
Yeah.
Is it not? So it's just funny, isn't that funny how different words resonate with it? That word specifically resonates with me. So yeah.
The way that magic resonates for the Cory costume is the way that truth resonates for the Atlas costume. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm also excited for, I'm sure it'll change, because your calling is ever shifting. It's not going to be a one thing for the rest of your life, maybe, but it's exciting to just know that you know how to access that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why right away when I came back, the first video that I made is what is your calling on our channel, because I wanted to share with myself to inspire myself across all of these other costumes that are me on the channel, that watch me on the channel, to me watching myself, getting me inspiring myself on the channel, and that the capital S self across all these costumes. And so because now you get a whole suite of costumes that then recognize the importance of this word calling and the importance of this process with recognizing what the calling is. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think that can help a lot of other selves or other quote unquote people really to just check in and see what resonates with them, see what that unique essence is, why you're here, what really lights you up, what excites you, what is that feeling, really. What do you want to experience most? What do you want to see other people experience most? And you can do that now. You can do that anywhere. You can meditate on that. You can think about that. And that could be something very powerful for you to shift into. So that's cool. I'm glad you made that video. It's really cool.
I would say that calling is probably also a little bit more self-actualization driven. And then the illusory eternal river is more self-realization oriented. But they're all, again, ultimately both are one. But if you pursue calling without knowing your true nature, you may pursue something for a egoic kink, for a distortion. Like you want to get a watch to be able to show off to other people that this unit has a material item, type thing. There's all these weird distortions that come from the process of self-actualizing when you don't know your true nature.
Yeah, definitely, because that gives you the foundation to build on that, and it's great because it's your calling isn't a thing. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have that dream, like Bentinho was saying, let that be in your wake of the water. Let the expression of the entrepreneur happen, but your calling is coming through always. You're living that calling. And whatever needs to express will be in that wake, whether it's entrepreneurship or music or whatever that expression is. So it's not you actually being a musician or being an entrepreneur. Yes, that's the expression of it, but check in with your calling as a vibrational sense. That's what will carry you there.
Yep.
So it's really cool.
And that's the breadcrumb trail of the highest excitement.
Yeah.
Bashar and Bentinho and so many others have talked about is that even Tony Robbins and all of the self-help psychology, self-actualization literature talks about that same thing. But again, you have to come from a place of knowing your true nature. Otherwise, even as Simon Sinek, the infinite game. Are you playing a finite game or are you playing the infinite game? Because if you're playing the finite, then you're going to want something from Maya. You're going to want peace or happiness from Maya, from the illusion, from the intoxication, from the dream, from a substance or an experience or relationship. But if you know your true nature as infinite, if you know yourself as the subtle, formless awareness that I am, that is shared and eternal, or even more so as that which even uses awareness as its agent, that absolute, you as the creator, then you no longer see Cory Malone as a separate entity. I see Cory as one of the costumes of I am, and that we are two costumes of the same source talking to itself. And so then everything I do comes from a place of purely, and again, it's the purifying process. It's not overnight I decondition all of my bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going through a process right now, basically, as Bentinho and the team talked about. Anurag and Richard talk about this too, which is basically like it's a fucking Navy SEALs boot camp. Mm-hmm. It's not a gym membership. This is some Navy SEAL shit because you basically have to become vigilant about every single frame of your life. Like earlier today, like I made the declaration at the retreat, right? I made this declaration where I said that I will no longer experience selfish gratification when helping people experience truth. And that was a big fucking deal for me because I wasn't aware of the fact that was happening until I really made the declaration. And now guess what? Today, while I was helping people, I recognized the two timelines where I saw on one timeline the conditioned Atlas unit. I was watching that conditioned Atlas unit receiving selfish gratification from helping somebody experience truth. And on the other timeline, I witnessed my shift into permanent alignment, which is that, whoa, this is what I want from now on, which is that I see my bullshit. I see my fraudulence. I see that fraudulent ass conditioned timeline and that's bullshit, and I'm not that anymore. I am just the God's love light timeline. I am just recognizing that I'm serving myself to know the true nature, and that it's coming from a place of purity. So that subtle distinction, it was such a subtle fucking distinction. Yeah. It was so subtle. And it just continues to happen like that now after the declarations. What was your declaration too?
My declaration was, I declare to live from my heart. Because I think I had a lot of bullshit stories and full of shit about just a lot of things, just how I come off to people wanting to be this way or that way, or, you know, and it just, it doesn't matter. Like whatever's true for my heart, which is true for the creator coming through me, and then that's what I want, because it'll be better for everybody. It'll be more beneficial for everybody in the sense of what we're talking about here. So that was my declaration, to live from the heart instead of from an egoic sense, instead of from, well, how could I show up, or how do I look to this person, or am I looking cool right now, or but all these stupid thoughts that are so silly. So yeah, that was mine, and it's been really nice checking with that. But I like what you said about it being subtle, because it really is. It's not like a profound, ooh, I'm living by this now. It could be, sometimes it is, but it's super subtle. When you deepen these layers, it's like, wow, it's just like a thin layer of fucking bullshit that I'm dealing with that I want to purify.
What we both declared was basically the same intention worded differently, just like people experiencing truth versus magic.
Just like, yeah, really cool.
Because you describe this hyper similar process where there's only one of you, and that one of you is declaring that I'm only going to live from God's love light, which is the exact same thing that I was just declaring and talking about, versus that one onion layer that's left of that egoic conditioned psychology, that impurity that's left, that wants to, like you said, that it wants to have Cory Malone be something special for other people to see, or something like that. And that's very similar with what I was saying, was feeling gratification when helping people experience truth.
Yeah, definitely. And I think on this road of finding, the nature of reality, finding who you are, self-realization, because it's such a process of unlearning, the ego gets to that point where like, well, I've done so much work that I need to be validated for that, or I need to be special for all the work I've done, the years I've put in for this, the years of awakening and all this stuff, whatever you want to call it, whatever word you want to say. I need to feel special. So that's where I think it becomes subtle. You're like, no, it's not. That's not it. And there's more. At least for me, I experienced that. I put in so much work into it that, I need to, yeah.
That was perfect too. We had Bentinho at the retreat say that to purely be in service to others, you're going to have to deal with a lot of not being seen. Right? So you're going to have to deal with a lot of not being validated for being in pure service to others.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Learn. Me too. I'm on that same train where it's like, I don't need your validation for me to just radiate like the sun. Does the sun get thank yous from the trees?
No.
Yeah.
Does the sun stop shining if it goes, oh, well, that person or that tree is not appreciating me. That tree's in the shade. So I'm not going to shine anymore. No, it's just constantly shining no matter what. That is like one of the best analogies for this.
It is, yeah.
Just keep shining.
Without expecting any fruits. That's the key karma yoga, right? No fruits, no expectations, and just keep going at the roots. Endless roots, endless roots, endless roots, and naturally harmony will unfold. Just so unbelievably, ineffably, perfectly, that if you focus on the fruits, you will feel so much disharmony. You will feel so much happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the carrot dangling in front of your face. You can you can get stuck in that loop, but you realize you are the fruit. You are it.
Yeah. You are also that which is going to enjoy what ends up being the fruits as you work on your roots nonstop, but you have absolutely zero attachment to the fruit.
Yeah.
Which
Zero. Yeah.
which in this case, it's this mission of we catalyze this planetary enlightenment, and we do so with zero attachment whatsoever to the process and to the outcome, and that we just surrender to the hydrological cycle that we are. We are that fractally Romanesco broccoli happening. Have you seen? You're aware of that, yeah?
No, but I love that you said Romanesco broccoli.
It's this, yeah. Here, I'll show it to the
Romanesco is like a sauce. Oh,
you are basically this.
Yeah.
Like the I am is basically this, and then you have like the little Cory Malone one, and the little Atlas one, and the little Bentino, and and whatnot. Like these are the little costume expressions. All of these, endlessly costume expressioning, and you're also that's the eternal river, and then you recognize that there was never even a Romanesco broccoli fractaling. Shit's hilarious.
Yeah. It is hilarious. It is hilarious. Oh my, wow.
Yeah, so that's it. And there's so many other little examples of the golden ratio in nature, right? And if you really start, let's do this one again. If you really start looking, let's see if I can zoom in on this. Oh. Yeah, there we go. This one.
Oh, there you go.
Right? Like this is your endless emergence as galaxies and hurricanes and nautilus shells and sunflowers and Romanesco broccoli, and also as humans. Like we are the same secretion. We just have self-awareness and choice, which is what makes human experience so dope and highly sought after, and basically the playland of creativity and creation. And at the same time, this is all a dream. So, yeah.
I love these images here. It's so cool to see that. It's like the shell, sunflower. It's just all reflecting reality, or what's really the truth. It's beautiful. Hurricane too. That's cool.
Yeah, this is the I. Here's another sort of way of viewing it. It's like the universe logarithmic scale. So when you look up universe logarithmic scale, right? What does that scream to you? That's a fucking pupil and iris right there. Right?
Yeah. That's a fucking, yeah. Wow.
That's a pupil and iris, baby.
I love that.
Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, cool. And you'll never come to the end of all of the different ways that you create universes and then immerse yourself into them as different costumes. And yet at the same time, you'll always recognize that these are just dreamed explorations, and that you're also absolute void, shunya, stillness behind and beyond it all.
Definitely. That's such a cool image. I love this. I love this. So cool. Yeah, it's like you're looking at it's looking somebody in the eye, and then you can just see that.
Yeah. This as above, so below. So you have the phenomenon of the universe logarithmically that looks just like our own as so below the pupil and the iris. This is basically the great I am. This is the first attribute of the absolute awareness. This is it.
That's this. Yeah, first attribute, the sprout from awareness.
Boom.
We go sprout from absolute.
From the absolute, and then it sprouts from that great I am into all of these focalized I ams. You have all of these costumes that are part of this grand, great I am that literally has the pupil iris, just like we have the pupil iris. So at this scale, just like, you and I, our costumes share the same pupil, but we have different irises. That's why you have your unique Cory Malone costume and I have this Atlas costume. That's the iris, right? Which is the difference, the uniqueness. But the pupil is the sameness. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
And then similarly at the universal level, you have the pupil stays the same, always its awareness, but the iris is like the unique coloration of the universe, as in the universe here took on this role as this planet with 8 billion units orbiting the star with the specific civilizational history with DNA, carbon-based life forms that have 2 eyes and 4 limbs and shit like that. And that it just constantly changes. So the iris also changes endlessly on the universal level.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. That's really cool. Man, it's just so many layers to the illusion, because at the same time, it's like there's not even any densities, because if the Atlas costume, the Cory costume, were just one, there's really no anything. There's no evolution, really. It's just to put it into context. It's just
there you go.
Yeah, that just got me thinking a lot about how many layers of the illusion is actually occurring. Subtle.
Yeah, like this is a pretty bold, let's put it on the screen. Right there. Boom. This is a pretty bold statement, and it's really difficult for people to grapple with it when they haven't experienced nothingness simultaneously with everythingness, because there is both no evolution from the place of absolute stillness, void, shunya, nothingness, and we're just putting life into context by explaining evolution and densities. And yet at the same time, I went from a zygote to a 30 trillion celled adult that's wearing this Atlas costume. And that is also my direct experience of being this firework that's went through this process. So that's the simultaneity. And can you go beyond both?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like this again. Buddha, cosmic joke. Atlas, serious calling. Buddha, cosmic joke.
Serious
calling. Yeah. Which are ultimately one. They ultimately merge into one.
Just one.
I take your trouble seriously, but deep inside I am giggling.
That is so good. I love that quote.
Oh, let's hide that one. Oh, this one's a ticker. When I look at you, I am searching for a joke. And then this one is also from the episode we did with Gilad, Hillary, and Gina. there is only one intelligence present. We put that one up.
I love that. I love that.
It's such a good one.
That's so good. So good. There's only one. And I think that part of the reason why people may find it difficult for the oneness the oneness and the no evolution thing we just were talking about is because of conditioning of hierarchy, conditioning of this and that, conditioning of your life going from this to that. You know, when like Bashar talks about, we're shifting through billions of parallel realities that are static every second. So if they're static, then how is there any sort of this, then that, or any sort of continuity is what I was trying to do.
Very nonlinear, static shifts. Yeah, everything that we do is a permission slip into shift into the reality we shift into. By both of us going to the shift into permanent alignment retreat, we shifted into a completely new reality.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the insanity of all of these simultaneous timelines, because you can literally watch, you know, the little Atlas unit in its timeline that was, you know, let's say you've gotten rid of, you know, the bottom decisions and you're left with just these sort of two that are aiming up towards this North Star over here, this calling. And one of them is this one, which is a lot more directly pointed at it. And this one is like also pointed at it, but a little bit lower. And you can watch the Cory Malone unit, you know, go renege on these commitments. And like that Cory Malone unit, like you can watch that timeline go, and you're left with just what your higher self, your highest excitement is in this specific exploration that you're undergoing.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. When did you book the retreat? Did you book it a while out, or was it a last minute thing for you?
Oh, it was like, like 10 days or something out. Yeah. You?
Yeah, it was like, honestly about the same. It was like 2.5 weeks before.
Yeah.
I woke up with this feeling like, wow, just like in my chest, I could feel it, this unfulfillment feeling. And instantly it was like, you need to go to this retreat. And so I booked it that day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy and amazing.
For me, it was not necessarily like a feeling of something that needed to be fulfilled. It was more like I wanted to further refine that already incredibly refined understanding of the nature of reality, and that I had been watching Bentinho for quite some time, and I wanted to get a darshan, as is said. You get the direct sort of enlightenment transmission, and then also the surrounding, that container, all the retreated, all this type of stuff. And it was basically just this unbelievable sort of like, this is exactly what, like, like, okay, let's, you know, and it was just the perfect amount of you know, financial, you know, right back down to, you know, you go from like having like just out of the blue, you get, you know, when you've normally been at like $500 in your account, you get your $4,500, and then you spend 4,000 on the retreat, and you're back to your 500. And like, it's just like the perfect increase to be able to spend it all on that type thing. And it was just like ridiculously aligned. It was just perfect.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely. It's just like you take this step and the floor appears. That's such a beautiful way of just looking at it and living. Just follow your excitement, and then the step will appear for your foot. It'll be placed right there for you. Instead of going, well, let me go through this way or these stairs or that. No. Don't calculate anything. Just do it from what resonates with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just true trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wee.
Oh, I love that.
Look
Jump
at
your
this.
shirt, man.
I was gonna say that's the multiverse, and then here's all of your potential colors of all of the expressions.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Let's wrap with a little abiding session.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, everyone, we invite you to relax. Use your breath. Relax back into the very fact of I exist. Into your very timeless being. Use the breath as the tool for your gym repetitions to bring yourself back to awareness itself, beingness itself. Stop describing your experience. Stop symbolizing your experience. And recognize how you become more formless. Immediately, you become more formless. You drop the identity, the descriptions, the symbolizations, the form, the costume, the separation, and you melt into this formlessness. And that formlessness that is shared, that is eternal, that very sourcefulness. And check in with yourself like this throughout the day, dropping into that sourcefulness itself, the perfect, timeless, ineffable, the background nectar. Omnipresent. The eternal river that is also not happening. Know yourself as beyond coming and going. Know yourself as beyond birth and death. Know yourself as beyond nothingness and everythingness. Just ineffable perfection.
Beautiful.
Do you have some thoughts you'd like to add, Cory?
I think that was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect conclusion. I love that. I feel good about that.
The I am is playfully, blissfully, joyfully, peacefully excited about the interaction between the Atlas and Cory costumes. All right. Beautiful. Yeah, Cory.
So beautiful.
You gotta, awesome. Okay. Let's close it out. All right. Thanks, everyone. We love you.
Love everyone. Thank you, Atlas. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And let us know your thoughts in the comments. The other costumes in the I Am. We'd love to hear from you. And like the video if it brought you value, helps the algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't. Share the video with those that you feel like this would resonate with. My gosh, there were so many good things in there. We had so much good as above, so below in there. The Buddha and Atlas ultimately won. How you take your serious calling and you simultaneously hold that along with the cosmic joke. And there's so many good things in there. That was such a good combo. All right. Infinite love. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
All right. You and I will stay in here. Hold on. I'm going to end it.
Perfect.